During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk about drift retardants.
Well, farmers are spraying products out in their fields throughout the summer. There's going to be different things going on, whether it's weed control or disease control, insect control, those kinds of things. And one of the important things for farmers is that those products work. Another important thing is that they work in their field and don't end up in someone else's field.
Yep. So what's happened here over the years is manufacturers have developed different spray nozzles to make droplet size bigger. Whenever droplet size is bigger, then there is absolutely going to be less drift. The droplet weighs more, it gets to the ground faster. So a lot of times we'll talk about the reverse of that, the opposite of big droplets. It will be very small droplets, or we'll call them fines. So there is, okay, you can do this with a spray nozzle, but you can also do this by adding something to the spray tank called a drift retardant or drift reduction agent, DRA for short.
So what farmers can do then is they can take these drift retardants with them into the field, and maybe they get a nice day like we are experiencing right now, where there's virtually no wind out there, maybe a 3-mile-an-hour breeze at most. Well, they aren't worried about fines moving around when there's a 3-mile-an-hour breeze. So a farmer may say, you know what, I'm fine spraying right now, I can just run my sprayer as is. But you know what, later on in the day the wind's going to pick up and it's going to be 7 or 8 miles an hour. Now I start worrying about, well, those fine spray droplets might move around on me, so I can add in a drift retardant agent without having to change my spray tips. So like Brian said, you could get spray tips that just naturally make big droplets, but when you're making great big droplets, it's hard to get big droplets to land on a leaf and stay. You'll often see them splatter. So half of the spray that you needed to be on a leaf of, say, a weed that you're trying to kill, half of it ends up on the ground and does you no good. So farmers like to use the smaller droplets, but on days where that wind does pick up a little bit, the drift retardants offer them the flexibility of adding that in to try to control the size of those droplets. And that's really what we're talking about here, is increasing the viscosity of that spray solution so the droplet size is more uniform and a little bit larger.
All right, so that all sounds fantastic, but the problem is if a farmer uses too much of one of these drift reduction agents, it can cause serious problems. The droplets can get too big and it messes up the spray pattern. So in effect, what the farmer is doing as he's going throughout the field is he's spraying a little area, leaving a little, spraying a little, leaving a little. That's a major issue. In addition to that, if too much drift retardant gets in the spray tank, it's very possible that it could coagulate so much that it won't come out of the spray tank. It'll be like cottage cheese in the spray tank and the farmer has to scrape it out. So that's not a lot of fun either. So what we always tell farmers is start on the very, very, very low side with the drift reduction agents. Use a tiny rate and then start bumping your rate as you see, oh, okay, this works. I'm not having any problems. It's not adversely affecting my spray pattern, those types of things.
Now with these drift reduction agents, we mentioned they make droplet size bigger. The other thing that's happening is the manufacturers are learning some other things could be added to the mix to help retain those droplets on the leaf. So we're seeing combination products that also have a surfactant or a deposition aid. So when the droplet hits the leaf, it spreads out on the leaf and it sticks tight to that leaf. So we're seeing improvements in performance in many cases, but like Brian said, the rate is pretty sensitive on these products where farmers really have to dial in with their specific product, which type of drift reduction agent works, and then is there a combination product that could help me do a better job either controlling the bugs or insects or diseases that I'm out there trying to get.
The reason we wanted to talk about this during our Farm Basics time today is so if you are a non-farmer, we just want you to understand that as farmers, we're doing everything we can, in part by using drift reduction agents and other techniques, to keep whatever we're spraying in our fields so it doesn't affect neighboring fields.
Well, one thing we don't want to have in our fields is our weed of the week. We'll show you how to control this tough weed later in the show.